The sour cherry, or Prunus cerasus, from which we get the French word for cherry, cherries. It's introduced into North America in 1606. The ones that we see here are from my backyard. So our first step is to sort through the cherries, get rid of any moldy ones. Then we're going to wash any debris or anything else off of it. Once they're thoroughly rinsed, what we're going to do is we're going to dry them off and split them and pit them. See here, I'm just going halfway with a knife and then flicking out the pits, and this will give us all this wonderful fruit to work with. Now, since I'm going to be making a jam, we're also going to need some granulated sugar. And for equipment, a heavy bottom saucepan that's big enough to accommodate everything. Jams are relatively simple, but you have to follow certain guidelines. All you need is fruit and sugar, but temperatures are key. So first step, we put all this fruit into the saucepan, followed by our sugar. Then we crank the heat onto high and we bring it up to a boil. And we want to get a temperature of about 220 degrees Fahrenheit until it looks thick and glossy. It almost looks like a little bit like a volcano going on here, and that's what you want. It's going to be shiny, have a nice luster, and when you pull with a spatula, it'll hold back and leave a channel. Not quite there yet, but we're seeing the glossiness. Once it's thickened, it's cooled off a bit, and it leaves a channel, you'll have a jam that looks something like this. Just remember to hit the 220 Fahrenheit mark. Put it in a sterilized jar, and that's one way of preserving your bounty. Now, the second recipe is pickled cherries. Here we have some cherries, salt, sugar, vinegar, bay leaves, and peppercorn. And it's a fairly simple process. You take your fresh fruit, you make a brine, you put them together in a sterilized jar. The first step is to make our brine. So we're going to add our vinegar to a saucepan. Then what we do is we add the sugar and the salt, and we make sure everything comes up to a boil and is absorbed. In other words, the crystals have all melted into the vinegar. And this is our brine. Next, we're going to add our aromatics to our sterilized jars. So we add a bay leaf at the bottom, just like so. Then what we'll do is we'll add all our peppercorns to the jars too. The next step in our pickle is to add the fruit to the jars. Pack them in about a ½ inch below the shoulders of the lip of the jar. Then, once they're all packed in there, we add our hot brine to the jars and seal it. And there we have it. You can eat the sour cherries fresh, which is a great way to have them when they're in season. You can dehydrate them, eat them like raisins when you go for a hike in your cereal later on in the season whenever you like. Or you can take one of your preserves and make a pie. Here's some phyllo pastry and some sour cherry jam inside of it. Great way to have it. Enjoy your cherries. Cheers, everybody.